Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to Tuesday, March 25th teasers for The Young and the Restless, Victor Newman will share some important information, while Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers will deal with an odd event. To begin, Phyllis and Sharon will have a difficult conversation regarding all that they went through when they were in captivity together. Although it was a terrible experience, Sharon and Phyllis's relationship did improve as a result of saving each other's lives. However, it will be difficult to overlook the decades of conflict that preceded this period of captivity. Nick Newman, who came up with the concept for this conversation, will be counting on Phyllis and Sharon to figure out what happens next. After what they recently went through, Sharon and Phyllis might conclude that all of that animosity is unhealthy. Since Phyllis and Sharon had a complete nightmare, no one deserves tranquility more than they do. Although Sharon and Phyllis may admit that they are no longer exactly rivals, they will never be great friends. As they cope with this strange change in their relationship, Phyllis and Sharon will find it difficult to identify who they are now. Victor will then reveal some important information to Lily Winters on Tuesday's YNR episode. Since Michael Baldwin investigated the matter and believes that Aristotle Dumas has no interest in Winters, that might include disclosing his findings. But because of their past rivalry, Victor will have to worry about the danger he could represent. Victor will want to take advantage of Lily and Devin Winters since he won't be sure of Aristotle's intentions. Victor might try to get Lily to cooperate or even make a pitch to her in the hopes of luring Aristotle out of hiding. Devin, on the other hand, will respond to some unsettling information and might forecast a worrying future. Devin might not enjoy the idea of becoming involved in the drama between Aristotle and Victor. However, Devin might discover something that suggests Damian Kane's own hidden agenda and cast doubt on the newfound intimacy he's developing with Nate Hastings. Don't miss Tuesday's episode of The Young and the Restless because spoilers indicate Devin will have a lot to think about. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Diane Jenkins Abbott might use 7 savage words with Summer Newman. Let's think about how things might unfold if Kyle Abbott's mother tries to thwart Summer's reunion plot with a strong warning. Summer can deny it all she wants, but it's obvious that she wants to reunite with Kyle. This explains why Summer has been so eager to predict that Kyle and Claire Newman's relationship will not work out. Summer seems to want another chance with Kyle the closer he gets to Claire. Fans of YNR are aware that Summer and Kyle's marriage ended in tragedy, but it seems that she believes they can move past their previous errors and make amends this time. In the upcoming weeks, Summer will undoubtedly step up her reunion efforts, which may result in Diane's intervention. Diane will undoubtedly disapprove of Summer upsetting Kyle's current romance because she is quite protective of him. Diane has expressed some worries that Victor Newman is ruining Kyle and Claire's relationship, but she doesn't want them to end it. Diane owes Claire for playing a key role in helping her and Kyle mend their broken relationship. Diane should be extremely motivated to maintain her son's happy bubble because Kyle appears to be genuinely content with Claire. Diane may eventually have to deal with her ex-daughter-in-law because Summer presents a threat that she won't like. Summer might eventually push things too far, at which point Diane might feel compelled to step in and correct her. Diane might simply say to Summer, "Back off Kyle or you'll be sorry," if such were the case. When Diane issues a severe warning, her mama bear side might take control. Diane might pull out her claws and at least attempt to silence Kyle's ex-wife, but it doesn't mean Summer will listen. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Summer may eventually need to modify her strategy, so keep an eye out for any significant romantic developments. Here are the spoilers for Monday, March 24th, 2025's episode of The Young and the Restless. Fans should anticipate that Victor Newman will build a trap behind enemy lines in the upcoming episode. Phyllis Summers is comforted by Nick Newman. Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra, meanwhile, have a straightforward conversation. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Summer's Phyllis was traumatized. Fans may anticipate Phyllis's ongoing agony from her captivity experience on Monday, March 24th. She might have experienced strange long-term negative effects from the toxin as well. Anyway, Phyllis is going crazy all the time. It appears that Phyllis is mostly turning to Billy. Red told him that he needed this job once more. He claimed he couldn't run the business without her, but he omitted her from the press statement. Then they embraced each other. The comfort of Nick Newman. In the following episode, there is a scene where Phyllis is comforted by someone other than Billy. As it happens, it's Nick. Fans are also aware that Nick just turned down Sharon Newman's request for a romantic reunion. Could Sharon become envious again as a result of Nick consoling Phyllis? The kidnapping was intended to alter the dynamic between these two ladies, even if they will always be adversaries. Being polite would be wonderful, even though they may never be friends. Spectra, Sally put straight. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Billy will have to correct Sally. Sally might get the incorrect notion because Billy and Phyllis spend a lot of time together and are quite close. They were seen cuddling and spending a lot of time together by the fashion designer and interior decorator. That can cause Sally to question whether she would be deceived once more, as she was with Adam Newman. But Billy is going to correct the record. Although Sally might agree with his response, she also had a gut feeling about Adam and Chelsea Lawson. Therefore, it would be prudent for Sally to keep following her gut. The trap of Victor Newman. Additionally, Victor is said to construct a trap behind enemy lines. Victor affirms to Michael Baldwin in a sneak peek that he has a connection to Aristotle Dumas. Who exactly is this enigmatic individual, and how does he relate to Victor? What is the plot that you are most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. Here are the spoilers for the week of March 24, 2025, on The Young and the Restless. Fans can anticipate that Tracy Abbott will discover Alan Loran may not be who he says he is next week. Michael Baldwin discovers a link between Aristotle Dumas and Genoa City in the meanwhile. Additionally, Billy Abbott might be persuaded to look into the kidnapping by Phyllis Summers. Let's discuss what will happen in the CBS soap opera next week as you continue reading. Lauren's twist by Alan. Tracy's excitement for her impending marriage to Alan will be evident to fans during the week of March 24th. She is beginning to worry, though, that he may not be himself. Tracy knows Alan has a twin named Martin Loran. But the bad twin was slain. Or was it Alan? In any event, Tracy appears to have had an epiphany as a result of Jack Abbott's remarks. Tracy Abbott's theory of impersonation. Tracy pondered when Jack mentioned that Alan had been surprising her a lot lately. The author might acknowledge Jack's correctness. Tracy might begin to make connections, but doing so might endanger her life. Martin was planning a surprise, so he advised against seeing him in Paris for a few days. Maybe he's planning an experiment, which would be that surprise. Will Tracy become the next victim of the madman's prison? Billy Abbott and Phyllis Summers conduct research. According to next week's teasers for The Young and the Restless, Phyllis appears to be on the verge of a collapse. Sharon and Phyllis Newman were saved from the double abduction. Phyllis is mentally collapsing, but Sharon has swiftly returned to her regular routine. Then, Phyllis might be seen crying outside a restaurant in a preview footage. Phyllis claims that Summer Newman and Daniel Romalotti, Jr. are unable to perceive her in that light. A few awkward moments of silence are followed by Billy asking what he can do. Phyllis already knows what to ask him next, so that was a horrible question. March 19, 2025, week. Additionally, there is the matter with Holden Novak and Damian Kane. Two curveballs are aiming for Claire Grace Newman's happiness with Kyle Abbott. Summer and Victor Newman are the names of the two. It appears that Claire will soon have to make a difficult decision. Victor also reveals to Michael that he and Dumas have a past. What sort of past? Why hasn't Victor brought this up earlier? Are fans already familiar with Aristotle Dumas, or is he a code name or alias? What is the plot that you are most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. Don't forget to keep watching the CBS or Paramount Plus soap opera to see what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, March 25, 2025, promise a whirlwind of drama, emotional confrontations, and shocking revelations that will leave fans on the edge of their seats. The episode will delve into the aftermath of Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers' harrowing kidnapping ordeal, explore Victor Newman's mysterious history with Aristotle Dumas, and set the stage for Diane Jenkins Abbott's fierce confrontation with Summer Newman. Meanwhile, Phyllis's trauma continues to unravel. Nick Newman steps in to offer comfort, and Billy Abbott finds himself in a precarious position with Sally Spectra. As the week progresses, Tracy Abbott's suspicions about Alan Laurent deepen, and Michael Baldwin uncovers a critical connection to Aristotle Dumas. With so many storylines intertwining, the residents of Genoa City are in for a week filled with tension, heartbreak, and intrigue. The episode begins with Sharon and Phyllis attempting to navigate the strange new dynamic between them after their shared trauma. The kidnapping was a nightmare, but it also forced them to rely on each other for survival, creating an unexpected bond. However, decades of feuding and betrayal cannot be erased overnight. Nick Newman, ever the mediator, encourages the two women to have an honest conversation about their past and what their relationship might look like moving forward. Sharon and Phyllis agree that their constant hostility is unhealthy, especially after what they've endured. While they may never become best friends, they acknowledge that they are no longer outright enemies. This weird development in their relationship leaves both women grappling with how to define their connection. For Sharon, this is a step toward healing, but for Phyllis, the emotional scars run deeper, and her trauma continues to manifest in unsettling ways. Phyllis's mental state remains fragile, and her interactions with those around her reflect her inner turmoil. She turns to Billy Abbott for support, seeking solace in their complicated friendship. Billy, ever the loyal confidant, reassures Phyllis that she is not alone and that he will stand by her side. However, their closeness does not go unnoticed. Sally Spectra, Billy's partner, begins to feel uneasy about the amount of time he spends with Phyllis. Fearing a repeat of the betrayal she experienced with Adam Newman, Sally confronts Billy, demanding clarity about his intentions. Billy, caught off guard, reassures Sally that his relationship with Phyllis is purely platonic and rooted in their shared history. While Sally accepts his explanation, her instincts tell her to remain cautious. This tension between Billy and Sally adds another layer of complexity to their relationship, as trust becomes a fragile commodity. Meanwhile, Victor Newman is busy orchestrating a plan to uncover the truth about Aristotle Dumas, the mysterious benefactor behind Damien Kane's rise to power. Victor's history with Dumas is shrouded in secrecy, and his unease about the man's intentions grows as Michael Baldwin shares his findings. Michael reveals that Dumas does not appear to have any interest in Winters, but Victor remains skeptical. Knowing Dumas's cunning nature, Victor fears that his old rival may be playing a long game. Determined to stay one step ahead, Victor decides to use Lily Winters and Devin Hamilton as pawns in his strategy. He approaches Lily with a proposal to draw Dumas out of hiding, but his manipulative tactics do not go unnoticed. Lily, wary of Victor's motives, questions whether she can trust him. Devin, on the other hand, is more focused on the implications of Dumas's involvement in Genoa City's business landscape. He begins to suspect that Damien Kane may have his own ulterior motives, especially given his recent bonding with Nate Hastings. Devin's concerns about Damien's true intentions add another layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama. As Victor's plans take shape, Diane Jenkins Abbott prepares to confront Summer Newman about her attempts to rekindle her relationship with Kyle Abbott. Summer's subtle jabs at Kyle's current romance with Claire Newman have not gone unnoticed, and Diane is determined to protect her son's happiness. In a fiery confrontation, Diane delivers a stern warning to Summer, saying, "Back off, Kyle, or you'll be sorry." Diane's fierce words reflect her protective instincts and her determination to prevent Summer from disrupting Kyle's life. However, Summer is not one to back down easily, and her resolve to win Kyle back only grows stronger. This clash between Diane and Summer sets the stage for a high-stakes battle, with Kyle caught in the middle. The drama continues to escalate as Tracy Abbott begins to suspect that her fiancé, Alan Laurent, may not be who he claims to be. Jack Abbott's offhand comment about Alan being full of surprises sparks a revelation for Tracy, who starts to connect the dots about his recent behavior. Her suspicions are further fueled by the mysterious messages on Alan's phone and his sudden trip to Paris to prepare a surprise for their wedding. Tracy's growing unease leads her to confide in Jack, expressing her fear that Alan may be an imposter. This shocking twist raises the possibility that Alan's twin brother, Martin Laurent, may still be alive and posing as Alan. If Tracy's theory is correct, she could be walking into a dangerous trap, putting her life at risk. As the week unfolds, Michael Baldwin uncovers a critical connection between Aristotle Dumas and Genoa City's elite. His investigation reveals that Dumas has a history with Victor Newman, one that dates back decades and is filled with rivalry, betrayal, and unfinished business. Michael's findings shed light on Dumas's true motives and the potential threat he poses to the Newman family. Victor, realizing the gravity of the situation, decides to set a trap for Dumas, hoping to expose his plans and neutralize the threat. However, Victor's strategy is not without risks, and his actions could have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. Phyllis Summers, still reeling from her kidnapping ordeal, takes matters into her own hands by enlisting Billy Abbott's help to investigate the crime. Convinced that their captor is still at large, Phyllis is determined to uncover the truth and bring the perpetrator to justice. Billy, despite his reservations, agrees to assist Phyllis, setting the stage for a high-stakes investigation. Their partnership, however, raises questions about boundaries and loyalty, especially as Sally Spectra grows increasingly suspicious of their closeness.